We the people, the mob, we will not let anyone tear this country apart. Go after your neighbor. Go after him. That's how we unite. We unite by coming together as a mob and going after that guy who voted the other way in the last election cycle. That guy, he probably hates democracy. The best thing we can do, we gotta shut that ass up.
Right, so I got a call to go to. I can't go to the call because y'all want to play stupid ass childish game. It ain't because of me, man. I got nothing to do with that. George, I got nothing to do with that in there.
You fall down sometimes, but God picks you up and brushes you off.
Welcome to the Kerry Kinsey Show, speaking truth in love, telling the world about Jesus Christ. Here's why I'm holding my trophy. I broke open a box of about 30 motocross trophies, just like this one, back in the late 1970s that I won. First through fifth place finishes in tracks all around Georgia. This one, second place, 250cc, dug down out near the Georgia-Alabama line. Had a lot of fun with that. These and other broadcasting awards are part of my testimony. More on that in another show. But in that box was this newspaper. Look at that, from November 1st, 2000. I started thinking these headlines, for the most part, would be back page stuff today. What if I told you, though, on that date, that in less than 22 years, we'd be led by an incompetent, babbling, compromised, China tail-kissing president. A green-faced man surrounded by red with Marines behind him, spitting out verbal vomit that says, if you didn't vote for me, watch out. A call to war from Darth Dividin' Biden against millions of Americans. Even though Joe has tried to walk it back some, he can't. And some say the president also missed an opportunity.
I mean, imagine if this speech was about, if you took MAGA out of it and you put China or you put Russia, it would have been an amazing foreign policy wartime speech. He would have galvanized people to fight, the greatest enemy. And then you realize, no, wait, he's talking about Americans that he claims he can mind read, but he cannot identify. He cannot decide if it's large or small, but you better join him or you're a threat to democracy. We're all Americans, he says, except you and you and you and you.
Did you see they did a word check on his speech? No mention of inflation, fentanyl, borders, cartels, debt, prices, gas, abortion, or crime. Just Saul Alinsky stuff. Yes, I have a copy of Rules for Radicals too. These gaslighting techniques, well, they're nothing new. Dems have always projected onto their opponents what they're guilty of. What was new was the imagery. It was dark, satanic, and demonic, and all well crafted.
Joe Biden is standing at the podium. This is an upshot. I believe this is from Getty Images. He is screaming at the top of his lungs. He's gripping his fists up in the air. Behind him is Independence Hall, the site of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. Blood red. Blood red. And behind him are two American Marines who are in shadow, except for their white-gloved hands. And behind him, there's a pale light that looks like, because of the way this is lit, it looks like the throne room of the Emperor from Return of the Jedi. It's the worst piece of presidential image-making ever. Truly ever. I mean, imagine the sort of thought that had to go into this. And they're sitting around a room, they're like, what can we do to make the president really look cool? Well, what if we take a historic American site, the site that really is known for liberty and for democracy and legality, and what if we light it blood red, and we put the president in front of the blood red site? So it'll be red and black, like the fascist color pattern. Let's do that. And then, what if we actually front light him so he looks angry and demonic against that backdrop? And then what if we put a couple of Marines behind him to look like military force is what is backing him? This is a taxpayer-sponsored event, by the way. You paid for this. So Joe Biden gave a speech, and the speech was designed to attack all of his political opponents and treat them as enemies of the state. That's what this speech was designed to do. I think in a very cynical way, because Joe Biden basically gave you two messages. One, everyone who opposes me is an enemy of the state, and two, violence is wrong. The basic idea here is to raise the temperature. I think this is more likely to result in acts of violence that Joe Biden is then going to use as a case to run in 2022 and 2024. I mean, this is extraordinarily dark stuff. Okay, we haven't even gotten to the content of the speech. Just the imagery alone is extraordinary. Really dark, really creepy, really fascistic. And man, there's a reason that satanic, demonic, and pure evil were all trending on Twitter last night because, man, oh man.
If you dig what he's laying down there, watch our last segment of the Kerry Kinsey Show and see why Victor Davis Hanson says it's the left who's always talking about a civil war. Speaking of, what about a civil war among law enforcement in the same city? Yep.
Hey, Chief, I'm sorry. We got a situation over here. We got CPD won't let our guys out. I don't want to fight. Everybody in. Everybody in.
That was a lieutenant for the sheriff's office in Muskogee County, Georgia, telling his deputies not to fight police officers with the city of Columbus. What? Columbus is the second largest city in Georgia and the county seat of Muskogee County. Back in July, cops and deputies with the two agencies had a tense conflict at the county jail, which is run by the sheriff's office. It started when the jail refused to book Columbus police prisoners who were picked up in a weekend crime suppression detail coordinated by the Georgia State Patrol. The jailers worried about overcrowding, but Columbus police would not call off the dogs. The jail processed prisoners in this order: deputies first, the State Patrol second, and Columbus Police third. You can see a powder keg developing, right? When Deputy Blaine Atkins booked a suspect by cutting the head of awaiting police officers one hot night, police blocked his car in and refused to move. But the deputy had a call to go to. Body cam video that captured that showdown was released recently. Let's talk to a career law enforcement officer and author from Las Vegas about this incident. All right, with retired Lieutenant Randy Sutton, formerly of Las Vegas Metro Police Department. Randy, have you ever seen anything like what you just witnessed on tape?
I was embarrassed personally by watching it. I've never really seen something quite as unprofessional as that. Well, I mean, I've seen a few bad things, but this was on a grand scale. I mean, you almost had a fist fight take place between a group of sheriff's deputies and a group of cops over what was essentially a massive failure of the leadership of those organizations.
Right. And we were talking earlier, if you had to put your, let's say, your finger towards the person who might have escalated this whole thing, who would that be?
Well, there's lots of blame to be spread around here. The sergeant of the Columbus Police Department who ordered his officer to block in the patrol car of the sheriff's deputies. If he worked for me, he'd be losing his stripes or losing his job.
Wow.
What he did was unconscionable. If you have an issue and you take up the issue, you don't block in an emergency responder's vehicle, especially when there is a crime in progress that he's trying to go to. It was outrageous, absolutely outrageous conduct.
Randy, tell me, since we last talked in Las Vegas, since I was a reporter and you were a great author of so many books about law enforcement, what are you into right now?
Well, I got two major things happening right now. One is I have a new book coming out in a couple months,
All right.
and it's right about this very topic. It's called Rescuing 911, The Fight for America's Safety. And if your viewers want to discover more about that book and get on the list for when it comes out, go to rescuing911.org. Just leave your email and we'll notify you when the book comes out. And the most important thing that I'm doing is running my organization, a nationwide charity called the Wounded Blue. And the Wounded Blue is the national assistance and support organization for injured and disabled law enforcement officers. And it's a nationwide charity, and we've helped more than 13,000 police officers in just the last year and a half.
Wow.
Excuse me, 2.5 years.
Yeah, great. Randy, we appreciate your time, and thank you so much for your insight, and we appreciate you being on the Kerry Kinsey Show. Thank you.
Oh, always a pleasure.
Yep, Randy's a no-nonsense man and was a great source for this reporter when I worked in Las Vegas. Meme of the week, yes, we have one. What are weapons of mass deception in your living room? Well, everybody has one, although the screens are a lot bigger these days, but the poison coming out of these boob tubes has many a mind in a stranglehold. Okay, it's time for Kerry's COVID Crazy. You know, the folks at the United Spot are right on it when Joe stumbles, so it wasn't long after that speech that Stalin, Lenin, and Mao would be proud of that they came up with this.
All right, Joe, you can do this. Do what? Your speech, Joe. Oh, yeah. Read the teleprompter and don't cough. All right. I'm not gonna cough. Oh, man, there's like 12 people out there. So red in here. Feel like I'm standing in the gates of hell. Joe, why isn't Hunter in prison? Hey, that wasn't on the teleprompter. Hey, that question's not on the teleprompter. Read the teleprompter, Joe. America's doing great. Everybody's happy. That's why everybody keeps voting Democrat, because we get the job done. Everybody's so happy except for them MAGA boys, you know? I mean, they're nothing but trouble. They're always looting stores and burning down businesses and screaming and holding up traffic. Democrats don't do that kind of stuff. I mean, look at California and Chicago or Minnesota. It's totally Ultra MAGA's fault. A Democrat would never run a state like that. We're honest with everybody. Smell kids and... Joe, read the teleprompter! I give my paycheck to America every month, because I want what's best for America. The soul of a nation, or gaslighting as I like to call it, is a new slogan to divide this country. So I'm asking everyone to blame the Ultra MAGA for everything. If you run out of gas, it's MAGA's fault. If you can't afford food or gas, it's MAGA's fault. If your taxes go up, it's MAGA's fault. Anyways, I have no idea where the hell I am, so, Joe, read the teleprompter. End quote.
Well, my wife Angela has a lot on her plate. We both do, as a matter of fact, and that's the subject of her segment called Prayer and Praise.
Thank you, Kerry. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Prayer and Praise. We have a very special show for you. I want to set this up for you. I pre-recorded part of my testimony during our last show, and before we run it, I want to share a scripture with you. Psalm 11:5. The Lord examines both the righteous and the wicked. He tests not only the wicked, but the righteous, folks. Yes, he does. Let me share. We worry too much. We worry about all sorts of things, don't we? We worry about things that we can't even change. We worry ourselves into a nervous wreck. We worry until we are absolutely miserable. You know, the kind of people nobody wants to be around. We worry when it would be easier to trust God. I love what the late Corrie ten Boom said. Worry does not empty tomorrow of its troubles. It empties today of its strength. Our worries will not change tomorrow or next week. It will not change your situation. It's not going to stop the rain from coming tomorrow. And all the time you're worrying about the rain tomorrow, you're missing the sun today. Did you know that all the trials of our lives are ultimately traceable to God our Father? It's just like the storm clouds. When they roll in, when they arrive, every drop of rain has its order, its place, before it falls on the earth. The rain falls on the righteous. The rain falls on the wicked. Yes, traceable to God our Father. Life is too short to worry about what may happen or may not happen, or to be worked up about something, or to make yourself and everyone around you miserable. Life is too short to harbor grudges or to hate. Quit worrying about what can go wrong and get excited about what can go right. It doesn't take any more effort either way. And by the way, they're really both faith. And I choose to have faith that God is going to do something good. As children of God, we don't know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future. All that we experience in this life will either be God ordained or God allowed. Our Lord, in His infinite wisdom and superabundant love, sets such high value upon His people that He will not always protect us from the trials by which our faith will be strengthened. It is good that the Lord examines the righteous, for it causes us to draw closer to Him. Yes and amen. Will you watch with us? So tonight, I want to share part of my story. Some of you know what I am facing, what my family is facing, and I want to make sure that beyond me, myself, and I, that God is glorified in this and that the focus is left on Him as I close out. When I was in middle school, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. It's a curvature of the spine. Mine is idiopathic. That means cause unknown. Long story short, I wore a brace through all of middle school and high school, 24 hours a day. This effort did prove to be successful in correcting a 32-degree curve down to just 8 degrees. Not perfect, but good enough. Unfortunately, though, over the years, the curve was uncooperative. It regressed back to greater than 65 degrees and led to many months of unexplained respiratory concerns. The curve caused rotation of my rib cage, leading to lung compression. So in November of 2020, I underwent a major surgery to have my framework completely realigned and my spine fused from thoracic to lumbar. That's a big fusion. We celebrated what we thought was a successful outcome, but now, after almost 2 years and many physical therapy sessions and worsening back and lower leg pain and much suffering, I was horrified to discover this: a failed $400,000 back surgery. After CT scans and MRIs and multiple neurosurgeon visits. I'm facing another greater than $400,000 revision surgery and another 3 months out of work recovery because of badly placed screws. Not just one, folks. Multiple screws by more than half of the 20 that were placed. One is even abutting my aorta, possibly another. So a cardiothoracic surgeon will be available on standby to prevent acute blood loss while all of the hardware is removed. And then we start over. What is the old cliche? Life happens. Life will knock you down and laugh at you. Life will hit you hard, especially when you are trying to live for Jesus. It is no respecter of persons. But that's when you say, you know what? I'm getting up. I'm not going to quit. I'm not. I may be knocked down 10 times, but I'm going to get up 20 times because of Jesus. I'm not going to quit. The devil is out to kill, steal, and destroy. But I'm not going to give him the time of day. You fall down sometimes, but God picks you up. God picks you up. You fall down sometimes, but God picks you up and brushes you off. If you belong to Jesus, He will never leave you nor forsake you, even when you mess up. It's good news. My surgery is scheduled for September the 8th. That's not very far away. But no matter the outcome, I know that God is with me. And the end game will always be that He picks me up and He carries me home. Or He leaves me here to carry out the mission that He called me to from the very beginning. To share the gospel truth of Jesus Christ with all. He is the only way, the only truth, and the only life. No man comes to the Father except through Him. Isaiah 43:2 says this: when you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you. What is the greater testimony? That He spared me from the deep waters? That He spared me from the fires of oppression? Or that He was present with me through it all? That He never left my side? God is with us. He loves us. David said in Psalm 23:4, even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Father, thank you that you are with me and my family through this dark valley. In Hebrews 13:5, for God has said, I will never fail you. I will never abandon you. Jesus is there, not just for me and my family, but for you. Whether it's a difficult moment in your marriage, a trying moment for your finances, in this struggle with your job, in this difficult relationship, you're rubbing corners with your spouse, your boss, your children, your teachers, your friends, this hard time that you're having, He is there. I'm talking about looking back over all your circumstances in life and seeing His fingerprint on it all, where you can see footprints in the sand, sometimes one set when He's carrying you, and sometimes two sets when He's training you to get back on your feet again, as you realize that God was with you all the way. What other people call coincidence, you knew it was indeed the sovereign hand of God, the manifest presence of God. I would rather walk with God with none of my questions answered, and to walk through life without Him and know all the answers. I have 2 shows left before my surgery, and I want you all to please support my husband through this difficult time, not only with prayer but financially, as he carries on to provide a weekly show, hopefully soon to become a daily show to you, our viewers, while he cares for me in my recovery, while I'm out of work. Our finances will certainly be strained, but again, I am reminded that God is present and all-knowing. He's our provider and deliverer. I pray that volunteers will step up and offer your gifts and talents, and the Kerry Kinsey Show will continue in God's strength and by His grace alone. If you'd like to donate to the show, you can reach us at www.thekerrykinseyshow.com/give, or you can send love offerings to our mailing address at The Kerry Kinsey Show, P.O. Box 6054, Jensen Beach, Florida 34957. I know you all believe in Kerry. He has the courage to share Jesus and the gospel with anyone he meets on the street and beyond. He is a modern day Paul. He's not ashamed. Please consider becoming a monthly partner with this ministry as we grow And as we expand our reach around the world with the hope of sharing the truth of Jesus Christ with all, it is our motto: stay calm, be bold, speak truth. I pray we will never stop speaking truth until the whole world knows. Until the whole world knows. Yes, and amen. It's back to you, Kerry.
And I want to add to what my wife said about not worrying. Do you know, a week before her surgery, the insurance company came up with some lame excuse on why they weren't going to pay for her operation. Something about a form not being signed or something stupid. She was really heartbroken, concerned, and very sad because it's been a long and painful journey for her. But we prayed about it, and it turned out once again that this was a testament to God's faithfulness, because the Lord had it already worked out. When we rely on Him to get us through our weaker moments, He, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, proves to be our strength. Thank you, Angela, for another heartfelt segment of prayer and praise. Your prayers for her during her surgery and recovery are much appreciated. Now, this is our last show for a couple of weeks as I help Angela as she's on the mend. We still need you to partner with us to buy some equipment. Last week, our cable modem and router and the Ethernet all blew up on the same day. And we need more lights and another microphone. You can partner with us at KerryKinseyShow.com, theKerryKinseyShow.com, or send donations to P.O. Box 6054, Jensen Beach, Florida 34957, or go to GiveSendGo.com/The Kerry Kinsey Show, or write us at TalkToMe@TheKerryKinseyShow.com. Please like and share this presentation. That'll help us out a ton. Thank you for watching, and remember, there are no crown wearers in heaven without cross bearers here below. There is no hope for this world except in Jesus Christ. Get out there and tell somebody about our Jesus. God bless you.